The Washington Huskies just got some sneaky good news. Let's talk about it. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
We're the Big Ten guys, talking daily Big Ten analysis, news, everything you want to know Big Ten. This is the place to get it. Aaron, tell them what they need to do.
All you got to do, hit that subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out on the daily. As well, hit the like button because we know you want to. So, Paul, Washington Huskies, why should we be optimistic?
Look, a lot of people are sleeping on Washington, but they got this QB, Damon Williams. Husky fans, I know you remember him from the end of last year. He was a true freshman, came in, absolutely lit up Louisville in their bowl game, and he's getting even better in the offseason. Aaron, why don't you let him know what he just did last week?
And I want to say we're going to jump into that game, but that was the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
So not just any bowl game. Yeah.
Put respect on that bowl name's name, all right? Put some respect. Now, Damon Williams was at the Peyton Manning camp in Louisiana. It's a big-time camp that's held by the Manning brothers every single year. And what's really cool about it, if you didn't know, college quarterbacks are the counselors. And so Damon Williams was one of those counselors, along with a bunch of other big-time names, including Drew Allers, another Big Ten quarterback, Arch Manning, Nussmeier out of LSU, a lot of big-time names. Sam Levitt, I'm a Michigan State fan, a guy that we missed out on. He transferred out. Kills me that we lost him. But they do on Friday night what is called the Air It Out Challenge. And Damon Williams won it, stole it. It was great, did awesome. Now, what's crazy about that, in the past 3 years, 2 Huskies have won it. Damon Williams, and then guess what? Big Penix energy, Michael Penix. And we all know how Michael Penix turned out. Hopefully he'll do well for Atlanta. But I remember as Big Ten fans, we've watched him ever since he played at Indiana. Mm-hmm. So it's been cool to see him develop all the way up to his time at Washington and now starting in Atlanta. Again, I got to say, starting in front of another Michigan State guy in Kirk Cousins. Anyway, I'm dogging on Michigan State on this episode. But anyways, this is great news for Husky Nation because it only shows that this dual threat quarterback that they have that will be a full-fledged starter this year, for sure, hands down, has a lot of potential and a lot to prove, especially if he's going up against these big dogs in a competition like this.
Yeah, because this is an accuracy competition. This guy's known for his speed and his arm strength. This is accuracy. So he literally has every tool that you want your QB to have.
Yeah. And I think one of the big reasons that he originally was committed to Arizona, and then he ended up leaving with Judd Fish to Washington to take over that job. So he came over, which is the same thing happened at Michigan State. Jonathan Smith, Aiden Childs left there in the sinking Pac-12 and went over to Michigan State. But a lot of times you look at a quarterback like Damon Williams, and what I was going to say is he's 5'11", so I think a lot of people think, okay, he's already undersized, he's dual threat, he's probably a better runner than he is passer. No. Unreal passer. If you're winning a competition like this is only good news. As we said, sneaky good news, because a lot of people look past this and think, oh, okay, whatever.
And I think a lot of people just sleeping on Washington in general.
In general, especially after how they finished last year, and Paul mentioned this, winning the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Now, they may not have as cool as entrance as the Pop-Tart Bowl, but still.
Well, actually, they lost the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
But he tore it up. He tore it up in that game.
He
won the Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, he won. He should have won MVP if he didn't win MVP. But I forgot they lost on a 2-point conversion they tried at the end. Helped them come back all the way. Sorry, I was too fixated on Tony the Tiger. All I think of Sun Bowl, and then I see Tony the Tiger. Sorry, it is what it is. But regardless, you look at his stats in that game. 374 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, and then rushing, he had 48 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. That looks like the type of quarterback to me that should be winning these types of challenges that deal with passing and accuracy, as opposed to a lot of people think, oh, he's fast, he's quick, defenses don't want him out of the pocket. No, if you're throwing just like this, passing just like this, it's dangerous for any defense.
Yeah, and I think what was awesome about him too is obviously they didn't get that 2-point conversion to win it, but you saw him get not 1 but 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns to get them right back in that game. Dude's got the clutch gene. You either have it or you don't. He has it. But I think just in general, Washington is a team you don't want to sleep on in the Big Ten next year. Obviously, they're bringing back Denzel Boston, who was their star wide receiver last year. Jonah Coleman, their star running back. They got the Kansas State offensive tackle, Carver Willis. If you're building an offense, you want to have that elite O tackle, the elite QB, a running back, a receiver. The rest of the offensive line, I hope they can piece it together. They got some guys in there, but you got to protect your quarterback first and foremost with that tackle. And then they've gotten some good guys on defense. Takario Davis, that corner who came from Arizona, used to play for Jed Fish. Now he's rejoining him. I remember I was actually I'm a Michigan fan. I was at a Michigan-Washington game a few years ago just watching Kyler Gordon. Like, you could not throw on the guy. And then they had another corner who was drafted that year too. But, like, you could not throw on Washington's corners back then. Takario Davis, I think, is as good as those guys. And they got a few other linemen and linebackers. They're not bringing back a ton of starters on defense, but they hit the portal hard this year and should at least be above average on that side of the ball.
For sure, above average. And we're going to get into their schedule in a minute that I think is going to help you gain more optimism in this year, especially with Damon Williams at the helm. But I think another big thing, too, is we talk about these wide receivers. Think about it, too. We look at Damon Williams and compare him to a Michael Penix and a great quarterback with a ton of potential. But then also, too, we talk about these wide receivers who, remember Michael Penix, it wasn't just him. He had a bunch of great wide receivers all around him. From Romeo or
Roma Dunes.
I always think of Roman Wilson from Michigan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Adunze, playing for your team, the Bears. And then as well, you look at Jalen Polk, who hopefully will turn it around for the Patriots. But these guys have that potential to be those types of wide receivers for this Washington team. And this Washington offense has the potential to be incredibly dangerous, not only in the air, but on the ground as well. So we look specifically at the schedule. Non-conference, I would tell you, is very weak.
Yeah, 3-0 should have no problem.
No problem. Biggest test right off the bat in conference is going to be Ohio State, but luckily that is in Seattle. That's at home at Husky Stadium. That's gonna be tough. I would tell you, I would guess that's going to be a loss, in my opinion. So I think they go 3-1. Maryland, I think is going to be trash. We haven't done a video on Maryland yet.
Probably won't need to.
Probably won't need to. Not very optimistic on Maryland at the moment. If you're a Maryland fan, sorry. I'm a Michigan State fan. We're putting out a video soon on them. Not very optimistic. Rutgers, again, Greg Schiano, I think he's helped turn it around there. But I think they're going to be a 6-6, 7-5 team for the most part under his tenure there. Michigan, Paul?
If it was at Washington, I think that's a game, but it's hard to imagine them going into the big house and winning. But you never. I mean, Michigan's going to have a freshman QB. And if Washington can, like, if Damon Williams takes that next step, I'm not going to say it's a guaranteed loss.
No. And then Illinois is tough. They have a ton of returners on both sides of the ball. But then you go on a stretch where Wisconsin, listen, they're starting Billy Edwards, who is Maryland's old quarterback. Not ideal. Purdue, absolute garbage last year. Going to be garbage this year. UCLA, they have Nico from Tennessee, transfer quarterback. But besides that, don't expect anything dazzling out of them. And then you have Oregon. So if there's 4 games that you should be worried about, it's Ohio State, Michigan, Illinois, Oregon. Oregon, again, is another team that I don't know if in years past, they haven't always reloaded like the likes of Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. I guess I'll throw Michigan in there just because as of recently they have. But Oregon sometimes, like other teams, it takes them another year or so to get back to playing, their best football. And so, again, those 4 games I would tell you are all the biggest concerns on my end. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the 3 especially are likely losses. Illinois at home, I think, is kind of a coin flip. But even if you lose that one, I think they're probably the favorite in their other 8 games.
Yeah.
I think 8-4 or 9-3 is very possible. And if Damon Williams, I mean, I think he has dark horse Heisman potential. And if he really
Yeah.
takes that leap, I wouldn't be surprised if they play Michigan tough on the road and if they play Oregon tough at home last. Like, they could be 9-2 going into that Oregon game. And
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah. And I think, too, again, offensively, if this offense is clicking, Damon Williams is playing the type of football he did at the end of last season against Louisville. I think this can be a huge turnaround, kind of back to, hey, Washington just wasn't a one and done when they made the playoffs, or back when they had Chris Peterson and they made the 14 playoff back in the day. I think it's, hey, we mean business and we can play in the Big Ten, because I think a lot of people, when they saw, as Big Ten fans, OG Big Ten fans, when Washington came in, I don't think there were concern when you have the likes of Oregon, USC, and UCLA, but I think they can be. I honestly think on the low end, 8-4 is the floor, but I would tell you that the top is probably a 10-2, and the two losses I would tell you is probably Ohio State and Michigan. I think they would sneak out a win at home against both Illinois and Oregon, and I think that potentially they could be knocking on the door to the playoff.
Yeah,
right
if you're
there.
10-2 and your two losses are to two probably top 10, 15 teams, like they might sneak into the playoffs.
They might sneak in. And so, again, do not be sleeping on the Huskies. A lot of potential there, especially in your boy Damon Williams. Paul, any last words?
So I mean, we'd obviously love to hear your predictions. If we're saying 8.5 wins is about where we expect them, are you hitting the over? Are you hitting the under? Let us know, Husky fans. As always, hit that like, subscribe, alert button. You don't want to miss what we're bringing this summer.
Don't miss out. We'll talk later. Peace.
See ya.